Howdy, howdy.
Welcome back.
It's June 11th today, my friend. And today, we're going to learn about just don't make things worse.
Keep the lights on. Yeah.
Okay, I'm excited because I'm hoping that they're going to define what worse is. And I would be excited to play in that definition for a bit.
Yeah, I have this I've heard this at work a bunch of times when new people, new leaders came on board, and there's this keep the lights on and don't break anything.
Yeah.
Right? It's
yeah. Yeah.
6 months later, we can start pushing buttons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun.
All right, Marcus Aurelius says, how much more harmful are the consequences of anger and grief than the circumstances that aroused them in us? How much more harmful are the consequences of anger and grief than the circumstances that aroused them in us?
Yeah, so the circumstances are really events that happen, or thought processes, or how we're looking at something, and that is maybe valuable, but then the emotions that it creates, those emotions are not very valuable. Is that how I'm understanding that way?
Tell me. I'll rephrase this, and then you can tell me if it's on point with what you're saying. So they're saying, it's when I let myself get angry or grief, and I want to talk about what that means in this instance. When I let myself get angry and grief stricken, that is more harmful than whatever triggered the anger in me to begin with. So sometimes I'll get angry and I'll feel justified, oh, well, because this trigger is such a bad thing, now I'm justified for being angry. And he's saying, no, because whatever that anger produces is worse than whatever triggered the anger in the first place.
Same.
Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the circumstances that arise, or the thoughts that we're having, they're not harmful, or they're not, they're just events, and how we look at it then creates these emotions, and those emotions are not useful, or they are actually harmful in many ways. In relationships, they not harmful to our health is one thing, but harmful in the interactions.
Yeah, if we let the emotions turn into behavior, and we act from that place, instead of saying, okay, I recognize that an emotion is moving through me. I didn't choose for this emotion to show up. It showed up. It's here. Welcome. It's anger. But anger makes me want to say this and do this and do this and do this, and I'm not going to do any of that.
But I'm going to express my anger, but not by yelling, but maybe by acknowledging that made me angry.
Maybe if I have the skills to do so.
Yes,
but if I don't have the skills to do so, then
you're
maybe I'm excusing myself from the situation if I can.
Well, you're battling, or you're retreating. Yeah, you're fight or flight type of a situation. Yeah.
So it's
which is flight is probably better than fight, because the fight, it's not gonna be resolved if you don't have that.
If you don't have the skill to stay in the conversation and say something like, this is producing anger inside of me, and I need you to know that. Or to not even say that at all, but to say to be able to process in real time, what is making me angry? Why is this making me angry? Why am I so pissed off right now? Is it this? No. Is it that? No. Oh, maybe it's this. All of that goes into figuring out, I get it. I was angry. I'm angry because I need this and it's not happening.
Right.
But it takes right now for me, I can't do that in real time. That's something I have to leave a situation, process on my own a little bit. I'm not even necessarily that skilled at being able to process it consciously. It's more so I'll go for a walk and I'll realize oh, that's what I needed.
Yeah, no, you got to go in there and dig in a little bit to ask yourself more questions, not just because the anger or whatever the emotion is there, reflecting something that is also there. What is that? And we are mostly occupied with the, oh my God, this emotion, this feeling of this emotion. We're so occupied with it because it's so super strong, right? Like, but we forget that something is creating this thing. And now we go, oh, well, if something is, what is it? Okay, now I have those questions to go, what is making me angry? What, and I need to sit there for maybe 10 minutes just going like, what is this? Like, is this? No, that's not it. Is it that? Oh, maybe that's better. Okay. And so like you pick, and then you have maybe that moment of like, oh, this thing is pissing me off. Of course. And the second you realize it, like, oh, this, when you have that moment of realization, that's when you stop being angry. That emotion goes away.
Right. And what I'm also saying is that moment of realization, I'm not that skilled at consciously getting all the way to that point. I can start an investigation, but then I go about my day. And it's actually when I'm driving to the grocery store or on a hike or something like that, oftentimes that more of the picture reveals itself just spontaneously. And I'm like, oh, I get it.
So it's not going to happen in maybe one session.
Right.
As well, yeah. Because it might take 45 minutes of digging. And now how long, not continuous, but in different segments, altogether might be, let's say, half an hour, right? So like how long is it going to be before you actually fill up half an hour of thinking nothing but that thing?
And I think some of it is focus, but I think some of it is also having a relaxed brain.
Well, no, both. Yeah, it's you focus onto it, and then you come to a place where it starts feeling like
diminishing returns,
or you get the returns, and those returns feel okay for now, but maybe tomorrow you go, no, that's still not sitting well. Okay, cool. Well, that satisfy you for that. But maybe now you have to return to it. There's a new layer that uncovered, and now there is a deeper layer. So we go back to it for another focusing session or another just, because I feel like the focus, if we do go and like dig into it and we come to some sort of a diminishing returns or something, now we start doing other things. We move on from it. Yeah. And then during that time, that's where we can get these aha moments of like, oh wait, that thing, we like subconsciously it's there, and we kind of, even though we're doing other things, those things are maybe connecting in some way,
Yeah, and I'm starting to like credit that as a very important part of the process. Like I used to maybe think that like, oh, I'm supposed to get the whole thing in a very focused way. And it's not good enough to have it be randomly like bits and pieces of wisdom just coming at me during any task. That feels like unreliable. Like how can I rely on that? If I don't know when it's coming and I can't. And like now I just have sort of like come to understand that like, oh, my mind is sometimes in a relaxed state, engaged in other things, especially when I'm exercising or doing something physical or being outside in nature. And like, it's just programmed to receive things during that time. And so let me like not try to call that a bad thing and pull it into this like work, focus and work and get it when you're working and doing hard things. And just like lean into the fact that like to grow and to be my best person, like I also have to just chill out sometimes.
Yeah, you can't be hard on yourself and be like, oh, like constantly on yourself. No, you gotta chill out, man. Life is not just work. Life is also chill out. And during those times, life present new things to us, and that's why it's important to do that. Yeah,
and I've been okay with chilled out. I just didn't necessarily attribute this specific benefit to it, where now I'm like, oh no, this is a concrete benefit from me chilling out, and something that I need to like welcome and celebrate and be more of like come wisdom during my morning hit workout or whatever,
Cool. Okay, let's do it.
Ryan?
Yeah.
Ryan says, the first rule of holes, goes the adage, is that if you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. This might be the most violated piece of common sense wisdom in the world. Because what most of us do when something happens, goes wrong, or is inflicted on us, is make it worse. First, by getting angry or feeling aggrieved, and next, by flailing around before we have much in the way of a plan. Today, give yourself the most simple and doable of tasks. Just don't make stuff worse. Whatever happens, don't add angry or negative emotions to the equation.
I like that. Wow.
Don't react for the sake of reacting. Leave it as it is. Stop digging. Then plan your way out.
That's cool because I see it as like don't make interactions worse. Try to make them as they are, just observe them, or try to improve them.
Yeah.
Try to make it better. I mean, that makes sense because you're not, a lot of times I don't think about this way, and I might be in some conversation or interaction, whatever that is. That's why I'm saying interaction, because it could be interaction with playing golf. Don't get it worse by getting pissed off or something. You know what I mean? Like whatever interaction we're in, like trying to reminds me of that like leave the place better than you found it, or something, and that somehow fits in there for me as like, oh, like this interaction. Now I'm in this interaction, therefore this is a new thing. I found this interaction. Let's leave this interaction better than I found it. Okay, contribute only good things into it, don't make it worse. But that's if I'm not thinking about this, I might be contributing worse to things sometimes,
For sure. And there will probably always be like this sort of, I'm not thinking about how I'm engaging and I accidentally screw something up, or I just wasn't thinking about my tone of voice or how I'm coming across, and I accidentally pissed this person off. And then like sometimes historically I would say like, oh, I already ruined it. So, and that's what he's saying. It's like digging your heels in more. And Adam Grant has also done like sociological research on this, where he's like, when people make mistakes, like, or a bad decision, like they dig their heels in on it because they don't want to be proven wrong. Like they don't want to have made the wrong decision. And so they're trying to actually make it right by like getting deeper into the hole. Yeah,
Chris Voss was also talking about it in the negotiation book, or never Split the Difference. Like he was saying something about like he was talking about like criminals, like when they make a mistake or something, they want to double down on it. Yeah. Like doubling down on the mistake. Yeah. And even though everyone else outside sees like, no, dude, this is not how it is. They're gonna be, no, it is. And it's like they almost like start to believe it, thinking that will excuse them of making that thing happen in the first place or something,
And I mean, he's seeing it in criminals, but it's really just like, this is the study of people, like all of us, like me included. And so then it's like, like
criminals are also people. So
of course. But like you and I might be in a fight, and like I might be of like, well, I already effed this up in this particular way. So I'm just going to ride this out. I'm just going to ride in the same direction, keep messing it up, keep messing it up, keep messing it up. And then before I know it, it's like, oh crap, this has been going on for like 48 hours or 72 hours or something. And we're still not really resolved on it. And like, it's just eating away at my energy and all of this stuff. When like at any moment along that path, I could say, just don't make it worse. Like, just don't make it worse. Like, and whatever that means right now, like maybe that means stopping the conversation, going and doing something else that's like good, like that as if I weren't in this big fight right now, like the laundry or like cooking a meal or something, like just do something normal. And so even I can see that in myself of like historically how difficult it is to not mess it up. Just continue to do it.
Yeah, and there's also this transfer stuff happens, right? Like, and what I mean by that is like you are in the interaction and you're saying don't make it worse, and now you're not making it worse, but you see that somebody else is making it worse.
Yeah.
And now you're pointing out to them that they should not be making it worse, because now you're preaching to them the thing that you're doing maybe internally and you don't see it in them doing, so then you want to remind them and and that's like fuel on fire,
That is making it worse, actually.
That's actually making
that
it
is
worse.
actually making it worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's not make it worse. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. Awesome. Anything else?
No.
You good?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks.
Oh, making it worse. Like, yes, I was saying this to people at work this week. It's like the I'm right, who's right communication style. And so like making it worse is like entering into a conversation from the point of view of like, I'm right. Or I need something from you. I need you to do something.
Versus I'm going to enter the conversation from, I don't know.
Coming into the conversation from, I don't know, I want to learn.
I want to learn. I don't know and I want to learn. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's it. Booyah. See you here tomorrow.
Comments, please.
Comments, please.